welcome to Top 5 Wednesday here at CSD Fantasy. This week I'm looking at the top 5 potential big fantasy games of the season. Starting off, we have Austin Hooper at Dallas in Week 10. Dallas had the third worst defense against tight ends last year, and safety Byron Jones has not started off the season very well. He's receiving a lot of criticism in Cowboys world so far. The Cowboys gave up a ton of points to tight ends last year, and Hooper has a seasonal projection of 90.6. Ryan targeted his number one tight end 40% of the time last year, so we're looking at more targets with a fantasy projection of 15.8. Next up is Michael Thomas at Green Bay Packers in Week 7. Green Bay gave up the most amount of fantasy points to receivers last year, and seeing as Breeze could put up big numbers against the Panthers, he can do it again. Thomas is now the number one receiver of the best passing offense from last year, and they have not slowed down so far. Thomas's yearly score projection is 144.9, and the Packers give up a ton of points to wide receivers per game, so this is a good spot for him to get some points. I project Thomas to have a fantasy day of 19 points. The first rookie is Joe Mixon against the Bills in Week 5. Mixon looked great in the preseason, but has seen limited action so far. Buffalo had the 29th run defense last year. By Week 5, Mixon should be established as the number one back in Cincinnati. Buffalo gave up 133.1 yards per game on the ground last year, and Cincinnati was the 6th best rush offense when it comes to yards per game in 2016. Second best potential fantasy day goes to Julio Jones against the Panthers in Week 9. Julio has been pretty consistent in being inconsistent against the Panthers, but has had 2 monster games within the last 3 games they have played. The Panthers were the 28th ranked pass defense last year and gave up a lot of points to Michael Thomas and Ted Ginn this weekend. They also gave up a total of 48 touchdowns in the air last year, so thinking Julio could get 1 or 2 seems reasonable. I project Julio Jones to have 148.4 yards from receiving and score 2 touchdowns for a total fantasy day of 26.8 points. At number 1, Ezekiel Elliott versus the 49ers in Week 6. The 49ers have not started the season very well against number 1 backs, and especially against a top one in Gurley from last Thursday. The 49ers had the worst run defense last year and gave up 2,321 yards on the ground. This year, they have given up the 5th most points to running backs and 2nd most amount of touchdowns. I project Elliott to have 33.4 yards from receiving, 103.1 yards from rushing, and score 2 touchdowns. His total fantasy day will be 25.7 points. These are not the highest scoring games, but I tried to highlight everything from rookies to superstars in games that I think will be great for fantasy. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content. It's greatly appreciated. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.